Good morning. I started my clinical rounds in the ICU the past couple of days. It's fun. However, we have shifts. When I say this, I feel like I'm an adult. So I have, today I have a morning shift, which is starting 8 a.m. So that's what we're doing. We're getting ready for it. And wait, I can tell you guys, morning story time. So a couple of weeks ago, I had my exam. I finished my neurosurgery clinical rounds, right? So after we finish a clinical round, you have to do an exam, okay? So this one was a big exam. It was like an oral exam with the what's it called? The head of the department of the neurosurgery. So let me explain the setting. I had the worst experience ever. So there's this room, okay? So once you open the door, in front of you there is a wall, and then the room is divided into right and left, okay? And then all the students have to sit on the left side, and on the right side, in my head, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be only the senior doctor who's gonna, do the exam with us, right? So that's what I thought. But then half an hour into waiting for the doctors to arrive, then they said all the senior doctors of the department plus all the residents on call are gonna be there in that room, and then they're gonna call us one by one for the exam. That is not what I had in my mind, okay? So I was the fifth one to be called on, and then I entered. So as I explained, there's a wall, right? And then so we have to go they call your names, you go from this room to this room, right? So I go there, and then the room is just filled, and I know these residents because I attended my clinical rounds with them, and then so I get nervous, okay? I thought that I've been better, like I've improved with the whole nervousness, being anxious before an exam. I thought that. Anyways, so I sit. So you enter inside, and you have a chair in front of the head of the neurosurgery department, right? So you sit in front of him, and then since I was like early on, most of the senior doctors have not arrived, and it was the main, like the head was there. He was the one who was doing the exam. So it was me, and then he was in front of me, and then next to me, the whole residence team, everyone was there. So I walked in, okay, I did not, no eye contact. I was a bit panicky, just a bit. And then I go in and I sit, and then he starts we do the exam, everything's fine, yada. It's going fine until he wants to end the exam. So I think he wants to end the exam in a good note, and he gave me this silly question. He was asking me about a specific color of a fluid that he was asking about a surgery that I was attending, and he was asking what color was the fluid when you washed it off. It was a dumb question, right? And for some reason I started, and I could not describe the color. Let me explain to you guys the color. Do you know the color of fog? Do you know the color of fog? Like the grayness. Great, that's great. But during that exam, when he asked me that question, I was like, okay, I'm sorry, I keep looking at the window, but the color of fog with a hint of red. That's what came to my mind in the exam. So I started panicking because I couldn't explain the color, and then I was like, and I don't know what happened. I just told him it's red, but not red, and then for some reason, this has never happened to me, guys. I went through every single anxiety attacks, panics, everything before an exam or during the exam, right? But this, what I'm about to tell you, I've never had it happen to me before. The right side of my face started twitching, my right cheek and my right eye, they started twitching, and the thing is, because it was the first time I've ever experienced this, I got even more nervous. I'm like, what the hell is happening to me? So I looked like I was winking at the doctor, and then he looked at me like, what are you, and the thing is, I kept, the whole thing kept twitching. I could even see that's how bad it was twitching. And then he told me, okay, I get what you mean. And then he said, you can leave, okay, you're done with the exam. And the exam was going so well. And then for some reason I entered the exam with my bag. I don't know why. Don't do this, guys. Just So I bend down, I get my bag, and then he has to sign off like if I did well in my exam, he has to sign off that I finished my clinical round in this department, and then I finished the exam. And so I take the paper and I walk out. So as I said, the door, in front of the door is the wall which separates the room, right? So now I'm at the door because I'm gonna leave. So everyone on that side, like all the students that did not do the exam, are still there. I was the fifth, so there's a lot of students. And then all the residents and the senior doctors on this side. So everyone, like both sides can see me as you leave the door, right? Like through the door. So I was gonna open the door, and then for some reason my bag slipped. And it was so loud. It was so loud, like the bag hitting the floor. It was, because no one was talking, there was no sound. People were doing, like, they were anxious, like the next one is, they were calling the next student, you know, so that he can do the exam, and it just fell, and it was a boom, right? And then I could not face anyone. I couldn't look back, right? So I was like, I'm gonna leave. Like, I'm not gonna, like a normal person would apologize, something. I got, because I was panicking, and I was nervous, and I got embarrassed. I'm like, I'm leaving. And then for some reason, even though I entered this room before, in my head I'm like, oh, this is the door where like you have to pull super hard, like with the magnetic thing. And so I, with all my force, I hold the doorknob, and I just slam, like I pull open with full force the door, and it slams against the adjacent wall, and it echoed. It was so bad. It was so bad. Everyone in that hospital floor, they heard that bang. Because I had friends outside waiting for me, and they heard it. And what's even worse is that it wasn't even, the fact that it wasn't like the heavy kind of door, right? So it slammed, and then it wasn't magnetic, so the door stayed open when I left. And at that time, I could not. Like, again, a normal person would go, you know, turn around, apologize. Like, that's the bare minimum. Not me. Like, I'm the kind of person who would apologize for anything and everything. But at this point, I was mortified. So I take my stuff, and I keep, look, it's been a couple of days since I had this exam, right? And every few hours, I keep thinking, I'm like, okay, forget the other students. Maybe forget the residents. The senior doctor, he'd be like, what is wrong with her? Why did she do this, right? The exam was doing fine, right? The senior doctor, he was not mean, which is surprising, but he was not mean. No one was rude. Like, it was fine, right? And I keep thinking every once, I'm like, what was he thinking? That I didn't even just turn back and apologize. You know, at least do the bare minimum and apologize. I did not do that. Nothing. And I walk out, and a couple of my friends who finished before me, they were waiting, and I tell them, and they were like, what happened? What was that noise? And then I was like, guys, let's go a bit further, because the door is open. It stayed open. And then I was telling my friends that, you know, what happened. And then there's this guy. I don't even know this guy. Like, I know him, but I don't know him, you know? He finished the exam early, and he was waiting, I guess, for his other friends. And I was explaining to my friends, I'm like, what's even worse is that before the door bangs, my bag fell with a loud boom. Like, my bag was heavy, okay? Because I had to start my first ICU round. So I had, like, packed a lot of stuff, you know? And then this guy, I was explaining, and this random guy, I don't know, started laughing. Like, laughing. And my friends were laughing. And, yeah, that's how the exam went. Not bad. Technically, the exam itself was not bad. It was what happened after the exam. So, yeah, that's what happened. And then after I finished that day, I called my mom, and I'm like, Mom, this happened. My mom started crying from how much she was laughing. It was, sometimes, you know, some people be like, oh, you're over-exaggerating, like, don't overdo it, like, don't be embarrassed, it's fine. No, it's, just imagine, like, I could feel everyone's eyes on me. So, that's what we're with today. Good news, in a couple of weeks, in a few weeks, I actually leave this hospital and I start my clinical rounds in another hospital. So I would never see the students again. I'm never seeing those residents and those senior doctors. I'm never seeing any of them, right? So I'm starting a clean start. You know what I'm worried about? I'm worried that once, like, on day one, in the other hospital, when I start my clinical rounds over there, I do something that's gonna stick with me the whole time. Look, this is, I'm trying, guys, okay? I'm trying. But that's okay. It's okay, guys. We finished it. We finished. What's pissing me off is that none of this needed to happen. Like, I was nervous for no reason. You know, I was a bit shaky. I was nervous. Like, why? The exam was fine, yet I had to. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so the kettle is heating up. Oh, there's a cat. So the kettle's heating up. We're gonna do our coffee. I had vanilla pudding for breakfast. I don't know if this is considered breakfast, okay? I just had a few spoons because I didn't wanna drink my caffeine on an empty stomach. I'm trying to change that because every single day I see the consequences of it. So I don't want that. I don't want that. So I had a bit of pudding. Now I'm doing my coffee. So it's done. You guys in the locker. What's up? I'm waiting on my friend, but I just need a second so I can hear it set and leave it all to stay with you, with you, with you, with you. I hate the distance, 'cause I'd rather listen anything to talk to you, that's making me nervous, 'cause I'm thinking you notice. Let me know if you changed your mind, 'cause when all we do is talk, it's impossible at night to fall a little bit in love. But tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm the only one, 'cause I would leave my love behind. My blue moon, searching every corner of the world for you. I know to find you, darling, you'll be mine and I'll be yours. Finders, keepers, think I'll keep her. One out of a million doesn't sum it up. I trade my gold and silver for a treasure map to find your love. You're the diamond, I'm the rough. Falling sand, I'm sinking in your hourglass. Spending every second trying to pour my heart into your hands. If it's you, I'll take the chance.